Welcome to this segment of Pigskin Preview, our weekly visit with the head coach of the East Texas Baptist University Tigers, Mark Sartain. Tigers have the off date tomorrow, so we'll not talk about an opponent, but we'll talk about last week's game, which the Tigers lost to University of Mary Hardin-Baylor 54-30. And Coach, you went at halftime with a 21-17 lead. You wish we could wipe away that third quarter, don't we?
Well, there's a lot of redos we'd choose from that third quarter. It was a tough 15 minutes. It's like we said going into the game. They are like a bunch of sharks with a feeding frenzy. If they get a mistake, if they get a big play, it'll generally lead to other big plays. And that's exactly what happened to us. They just exploded. Most of it was a result of big plays in the special teams. And one thing led to another. It wasn't anything. They weren't doing anything differently. They weren't pulling any tricks on us. They were just executing, and for some reason, we just didn't execute a couple of key components to our special forces. And of course, then you let the 30-mile-an-hour wind play into that for one of those situations in which the kickoff wound up about 10 yards closer to them than it did us after it got its full height. Just can't plan for things like that. But that's just the kind of team they are. They're very much they're very tenacious, and when they see blood in the water, it's a feeding frenzy, and that's why they're champions.
Normally this time we talk about your opponent tomorrow, but you have the off date on the schedule. Your next game is November 5th, the last home game of the year against Howard Payne. 2 p.m. kickoff on November 5th, so please take note of that. But I want to kind of ask you some questions, some general football questions. A lot of teams do a no-huddle offense, and a lot of times you'll see the quarterback go to the line of scrimmage. He'll either, in the shotgun, he's ready to take the snap, but then he'll look up and look to the sideline. Well, what's happening there for us football fans? We were kind of wondering, why don't you just go ahead and snap the football?
Well, it's just an additional opportunity for the offensive staff to assess the alignment of the defense. That's basically what it is. It's a strategy, which you force them to show their hand, or at least you attempt to, and then look to the sideline for an adjusted play call according to how they align. And offenses have gotten relatively sophisticated in the last 10 to 12 years, and signaling and communications of plays has condensed to the point where it can be done very, very time efficiently, and puts a big stress. It's tough on defensive coordinators.
Now, of course, the quarterback looks to your sideline. He's looking at hand signals a lot of time. What is there, like one person designated for the whole game to be that hot person, so to speak, and others are some dummies giving signals as well?
Well, there's generally someone different for each half, and sometimes even by quarter. But there's always at least 2 dummy signal indicators at the same time. Of course, that's just an attempt to keep the opposition from stealing signals, and it's not that difficult to process. Most signals are logical. Most play calls from the sideline are representative of the things that they are actually calling. So if you look at it, think about it, strategize, and pay some attention to it, you can figure it out at some point. But that's why we have the dummy indicators.
So I'm thinking here, you could take your game film and just on your opponent look at their signals only and try to guess them and try to get them away from them during the game. Can you do that?
Oh yeah, it's perfectly normal to attempt to steal signals. We stole them Saturday. Didn't do us a dang bit of good. We were calling their 3 basic plays. We had them figured out. It was very simple, and it was 100%. But they're a good football team, so it didn't really matter. And a lot of times it doesn't.
Visiting with Coach Mark Sartain during this segment of Pigskin Preview on KMHT, and kind of want to continue to talk some general football questions as the Tigers have an open date tomorrow. High school seniors playing their last year now in high school football. Let's say a senior does not get an inquiry from a university or a college and wants to continue his college football career. Have any tips on those type of players that might want to continue to try to play college football when they graduate from high school?
Well, generally speaking, and this is something I've told my kids even when I was coaching high school ball, if you desire to play college football, there's probably a place that you can. The one thing I think needs to be understood going into the process, and we heard this statistic shared back in the summer in a convention that we were at. The numbers are not in your favor for a scholarship, and parents and students together need to be understanding of that. Basically, 3.7% of high school senior boys who participated in varsity football their senior year, only 3.7 of them are currently playing on scholarship anywhere, at any level. So that notion that I'm a good football player, so I'm going to get a scholarship, it's just, there's still a pretty elite group. And you just look at the sheer numbers of available scholarships and potential recruits, and it just doesn't. It's about 3.7% are getting any financial assistance based on their athletic participation. And that's why Division III is the largest division in the NCAA. There are almost 350 Division III schools, twice as many as there are Division I. A young man who wants to play at the next level needs to find the places that he's desiring of their attention and send video. They can email me with that request. I get about 30 a day. Young men or families or coaches inquiring about an opportunity here. And we'd love to evaluate them on tape, love to have them on campus for a visit. We've got Tiger Day coming up on November the 5th, our last home game. We'd love to get them here for that and let them, try us on for size and see if this might be a fit.
Well, Coach, once again, thank you for your time on Pigskin Preview.
My pleasure.
ETBU draws the open date tomorrow. Next game for them is Saturday, November 5th, last home game of the season, 2 p.m. kickoff against Howard Payne. Thank you for listening to this day on Pigskin Preview. I'm Mike Midkiff.